Ah, yes, the rematch, because Chris Ha is who kept him from going 3-0 in his last draft. So here they are across the table from one another. Once again, Ari Lax drafting a Boros deck. Chris Ha, little blue, black, and red action in his deck.
Yeah, you can't get enough of the Grixis.
You really can't. All right, Wojak Bodyguard, I think, going to be the first play of the game here for Ari. Chris Ha drafted a Grixis earlier this morning, too, with a really shaky mana base, and maybe he got the memo about that, as at least 3 Guild Gates, 2 on the table and 1 in hand right now.
He does have a lot of fixing this time.
All right, great.
But we'll see if those enters battlefield tap lands wind up costing him against the super fast Boros deck of Ari Lax.
Yeah, great point. All right, Guild Gate number 3 for Ha here. Nothing too much to worry about at the moment, as the Bodyguard cannot attack or block alone, so we're just going to play out a Hazda Marshal here. Really interested to see how good this card is for Lax. It's underwhelmed me a bit. No play yet from Ha, but that's because a Price of Fame was on the way. Bodyguard down. Takes the bullet. Hazda Marshal left standing. In comes the Marshal here. Pass from Lax.
The Marshal just looking so unexciting as the only creature on the battlefield.
It's like, I want Battalion.
Battalion, that's right. Throwback to Guilds of Ravnica. Gate Crash.
All right, let's see if Chris Ha can add to the battlefield here. It looks like a Pitiless Gorgon. 2/2 Death Touch. Already up to 6 mana here for Lax, and he just can't attack. Passes back, and ooh, that's nice. A Crackling Drake for Ha.
2 basic swamps. Not the best friend of Crackling Drake, but he does have enough to cast it.
Yep. Somehow. Thank you, Guild Gates. Notion Rain. Gosh, Notion Rain always feels excellent to cast. We're going to take a Surveil 2 here. 1 in the yard, 1 on top. Draw 2, take 2. And we're going to keep things separate so we have a really clear view of how big that Crackling Drake's going to be. Beacon Bolt, why not, I guess. Down goes the Marshal. In comes the Gorgon. Lax down to 18. And just to pass back, I think he has a handful of tricks.
Yeah, it seems that way.
Gorgon in for another 2. Lax 16. House Guildmage for Ha. Command the Storm. Going to take care of that creature. And Haas can't be too disappointed about that. With a Drake at the ready in hand. Meanwhile, keeps chipping in here with this Gorgon. Another 2, 14 for Lax here. And is it time? For the Crackling Drake. I think it is. And there it is. 3 power.
He forgot to draw a card.
Oh, yeah, he did. Yeah. That card's even better than you thought, buddy.
Yeah, these things happen the first week of a new set. Sometimes there's, you know, when you have a complicated card, it's that one fine line of text, one ability that you miss. We've seen people not attacking with Parhelion Patrol, things like that, forgetting about Vigilance.
Yeah.
So, you know, this is just part of the learning process. And you saw Chris caught it right away after saying go.
Yeah, he did. It's too late.
Tournament Magic, there's no going back.
And this was our sure strike on a Healer's Hawk on the block here for Lax, but Hypothesis will take down that Hawk. pump up the Drake even more. Yeah, Ha's deck, you know, just churning on all cylinders here, taking down Ari Lax in game number 1. Fast forward here to game number 2, Goblin Banneret already in play. So things looking a bit better for Lax here right off the bat, especially with the follow-up play of a Skyline Scout 2-drop. Pass wall adept here. A bit of a stumbling block potentially for Lax.
Yeah, so we'll see if Ari decides to play another card to the board here or just pump the Goblin Banneret. It would be a nice play, as the Banneret would threaten to trade against the Pass Wall Adept and add a counter to Skyline Scout.
Fearless Halberdier is what he chooses to do there. So 1, 2, 3, finishing up with a 3-2. Back over to Chris Ha, Notion Rain here once again. Find some good stuff off the top, potentially. Found an Artful Takedown and a Capture Sphere.
Yeah, I have to imagine both of those are staying on top.
Yeah, he's
Artful Takedown in particular is going to be really nice at stemming the bleeding.
Back over to Ari here, who is actually going to pump the Banneret this turn, mentoring on to the Skyline Scout. Halberdier getting in there too. Not bad. All right, so we're going to trade for the Pass Wall Adept. Knock Ha down to 11. But no other play.
So Ari with a few too many lands in game 1 and maybe one too few in this game, but there, he found it.
Okay, so we going to see a takedown here. Down goes a Skyline Scout. Halberdier gets tapped. There's land number 4, as you said, and oh yeah, Experimental Frenzy is in his deck and in his hand.
That's a fascinating card, Experimental Frenzy.
It really is.
That one precludes you from playing spells from your hand, but instead you get to play the top card of your library, which what's nice about that is you get to play spells for free, and often multiple spells in the same turn. If, imagine, you look at your top card, it's a land, you play it, next card's a spell, you play it, you can even play the third card down. Luminous Bonds meeting Etrata the Silencer, good play for Ari. But at any rate, he's going to look to empty his hand first and then play Experimental Frenzy as a little bit of extra gas once he gets to that point.
Yeah, and he's managed to get Chris Ha down to 6 here, despite the fact that Ha's played some excellent cards in this game.
Yeah, now Notion Rain, a fantastic card in this archetype, this Dimir or multicolor control deck, but when you have to take a turn off to cast that in the early game against Boros, and not even to mention the 2 life that you pay for the additional cost, that can add up. You know, you really have to do something special to make up for the tempo that you lost in casting the Notion Rain.
Beacon Bolt able to kill the Fearless Halberdier here. Vernati's Shieldmate still on the table for Ari, but not for long, because Beacon Bolt immediately is going to be jump-started to take that one down as well. And there it is. Experimental Frenzy hits the table. Will it be enough?
Oh no, but Ari can't play any of the spells from his hand anymore, so he's got some cards stranded until that time that he decides to destroy his own Experimental Frenzy.
I'm excited to see where this goes. All right, House Guildmage, back over to Ari Lax. Draw, play the land, or play the Blade Instructor. Can you play another one? No, you cannot.
Okay, so he's already gotten 2 cards worth of value from the Experimental Frenzy. Of course, it comes at a cost.
Yeah. But, I mean, he's at 20 life right now, so not bad. Capture Sphere will lock down the Blade Instructor. Ooh, an Inescapable Blaze in Ha's hand. Keep that in mind.
Yep, so that can be used to either kill the next creature from Ari Lax or potentially set up to win a race if Ha can chip through for some damage.
Healer's Hawk onto the table, land onto the table. Nice, Ornery Goblin into play. Cool. He's got 2 Command the Storms in hand, I think.
So Chris elected to attack with the House Guild Mage, but let some mana go to unused there. He could have chosen to Surveil instead if he would have liked. But maybe we'll see that this turn alongside Darkblade Agent.
Yeah, he is going to choose to Surveil here. Darkblade Agent will gain Death Touch, and if it connects, draw another card.
He's looking at a Burglar Rat, which is pretty ineffective against the Experimental Frenzy.
Oh, yeah. The Boros know how to experiment, too, it turns out. And he can just look at it, too. That's great. He knows what's coming. All right, we're going to trade there the Ornery Goblin and the Darkblade Agent. No card draw for Ha.
Oh, yuck. That was a bad turn for Chris Ha.
Yeah. Rubble Belt Boar. Ooh, nice. Okay. Buff up the Hawk. Swing on in. And we can play a Hazda Marshal. Play a land. Wow. Play a 10th District Guard.
Holy cow, Maria. This Experimental Frenzy is going to work.
Yeah, this looks so sweet.
Ari's... Oh, my God. A concession?
Wow. Ari takes down that game entirely on the back of that Experimental Frenzy, Reed.
I thought Ari was going to lose that game, but
so
man,
did I.
What a comeback.
That was sick. All right, here we go. Game number 3. Ari Lax versus Chris Ha. Rashad is going off in our ear about how Experimental Frenzy seems sweet in Legacy.
He's using the emergency communication system.
Yeah, it's real important.
We only use when something's going horribly wrong on coverage to be brewing Legacy decks.
I mean, hey, that's what a Magic player's got to do, right? Whisper Agent in play for Chris Ha here, Ornery Goblin, and the Fearless Halberdier in play for Ari Lax.
So Chris producing Whisper Agent, which is a nice start and can trade off against the Halberdier, but still missing blue mana, at least for now.
Ornery Goblin getting in for 2. Ladev Guardian here for Ari Lax, a 2/4 with Convoke.
Not the most exciting of creatures, but sometimes all you need is anybody to, carry a Sure Strike or Mentor counters.
Falls to a price of fame. That Guardian was just getting too famous.
Oh, and actually Chris is holding a Dimir Guildgate, so he's going to have his... Whoa, that's not legal.
Okay.
Looked like he was acting as though he was resolving a Notion Rain, but he was really just resolving the Surveil from the price of fame. And one thing that's helpful in tournament Magic is if you confirm with your opponent whenever you're about to draw an extra card, it reduces the chances of some kind of unfortunate misunderstanding. So I think Chris went, okay, now I'll draw my 2 cards, and Ari went, wait, we need to slow down here.
Yeah.
Thankfully, any disaster was avoided.
Swing in with the Halberdier and the Goblin. Whisper Agent trades off. 10th District Guard here now for Lax as a bear. Sweeping pass back over to Chris Ha, who's got some nice stuff in hand. Artful Takedown, Muse Drake, draw a card. I see a House Guild Mage.
Chris has Crackling Drake
in
hand with 3 basic swamps. I've enjoyed watching Chris throughout the day just with these brews.
It's great.
All of his decks have featured both Pitiless Gorgon and Piston Fist Cyclops,
yep.
the Izzet gold card and the Golgari gold card.
No fear. No fear. There's the Muse Drake. Comes in 1/3 flyer, draw a card. Jump in front of the 10th District Guard. Take 2. Down to 12. Island the draw here.
All right, one step closer to the Crackling Drake. And he's holding a handful of pretty nice reactive cards. Artful Takedown might be the play for this turn. He can even do Artful Takedown and House Guildmage, which will put him in pretty good position.
Looks to be what he's lining up here. There's the House Guildmage. And it's going to be a Piston Fist Cyclops.
Sure, I like this play instead. You know, you use your creatures to trade off against creatures that you can trade off with, and you save your Artful Takedown for something really special, like an evasive threat or something really annoying, True Fire Captain.
Command the Storm takes care of the House Guildmage. No attack there from Lax. A second Sonic Assault joins the hand of Chris Ha.
So Chris has tentatively stabilized the board, and I think the best thing Ari can hope for is that he finds his Experimental Frenzy and goes to town just like he did in Game 2.
Yeah. You know, when they were Marshall and JVL were calling that draft, they were not impressed at all with Ari's Boros deck, but as soon as he picked up that Experimental Frenzy, it said jumped up a whole grade.
Wow. Yeah, that's a card that it looked good to me, but I have no idea whether it's, you know, like a 6 out of 10 or a 9 out of 10. I know it's a useful, unique card, but I don't know if it's like a bomb. But having seen what it did in Game 2, my estimation is going up.
Artful Takedown takes down creature, leaving just a lonely goblin, but it's going to be joined by some friends this turn. Blade Instructor and a Healer's Hawk. Card which in draft number 1, Ari Lax made quite good use of, pairing with a Candlelight Vigil. Build your own Baneslayer action here. Pitiless Gorgon now for Ha. What does he want to do? Pair of Sonic Assaults and a Crackling Drake in hand.
We've seen Chris go into this thinking mode a few times over the course of the day, planning out his next few turns, his plan of attack.
All right, here we go. Sonic Assault number 1. 1 of 4.
Yeah, that's right. When you have 4 casts of Sonic Assault in the bank, that damage really adds up. I mean, it's 8 points just at face value, plus helping you force through attackers, reducing the need to leave back blockers because you can tap your opponent's creatures before they come at you.
Nice draw to Etrata. There she is, the Silencer herself.
Yeah, I would like to see Chris be a little more careful with his mana, and I'm curious what Ari said there. I don't think it's appropriate for Ari to step in at that stage and tell Chris he's not allowed to change the lands he tapped, but of course we can't hear the players, so I'm not going to jump to any conclusions what they were talking about. But I think if I'm Chris, I want to be more careful about leaving the Dimir Guildgate untapped to represent a wider range of threats.
Rubble Belt Boar here for Ari Lax, buffing up the Blade Instructor. Can really mentor onto basically anything in the set, but it's going to put a +1/+1 counter on that Healer's Hawk. Muse Drake here, sacrificing itself in front of the Blade Instructor.
So we'll see if this Etrata gets to start attacking and connecting, because that's something that Ari can't afford, is to lose his best creature.
Yeah. And he just passed back to Chris Ha. He does have ways to kill that Etrata in the deck. Luminous Bonds, Command the Storm, but...
Chris now picked up Inescapable Blaze, so this is really adding up. All the copies of Sonic Assault. The unblockable hit with Etrata represents 3 damage in addition to the hit counter. And then Inescapable Blaze is 6 more. He will need to find a second mountain to do that, but you can start to see the picture being painted of the way Chris is going to deal these last 16 points of damage.
And is this something you start thinking about at this stage in the game? If you're in Chris Ha's seat, Reed? Like, all right, I've got 16 to go. This is exactly how I'm going to start putting it together.
Yeah, and I think that's what we're seeing when Chris does take his time and start tapping the table and thinking about if he wants to attack before passing the turn. He's in good position. His deck is doing exactly what he wants to do. He's stabilized at a reasonable life total against Boros, and now he's transitioning to let me think of the best way to actually win the game.
All right, so Etrata here takes a hit out on a Healer's Hawk. Shuffled back into Chris's deck, and we've talked about it before. Etrata so strong and being able to surveil, find her more quickly.
Yep, it's not out of the question that Chris could find that Etrata again within the next handful of turns.
The first time I played her, I obviously had not read the card properly because I had connected and I'm like, sweet, I get to exile something. And I'm like, wait, where'd she go? No, Maria, the card is not that good. It doesn't just stay out there and continue taking down your opponent's creatures. Sonic Assault here once again from Ha. Skyline Scout from Ari Lax. Life total's 11 to 10. So pretty tight here.
Okay, so, oof.
Oh, man. No.
If Ari's paying close attention, he's going to want to read something into that. Chris quickly drawing and playing a tapped source of red mana rather than holding it in hand to jumpstart the Sonic Assault. So the Crackling Drake, the Inescapable Blaze, those are some of the double red cards that Chris has access to in his deck, and we actually see they're both in his hand right now.
Yeah, and that is little details like that, Reed, that's something that might escape me playing this game that really, really can make all the difference. In fact, though, he is going to discard the Drake down to get a hit in with that Piston Fist Cyclops.
And that puts Ari in range, so the only question is if Ari can win the game or gain some life this turn, and it doesn't look like he can.
Yep. There we go, and there's Inescapable Blaze, and it is, in fact, Inescapable. Chris Ha takes down this grudge match here between Ari Lax, coming out on top once again with his Grixis deck. Chris Ha and Grixis. I mean, there we go, broke the format.
Both times very similar looking Grixis decks. He's in great position for the top 8. We haven't seen, Maria, whether how many, if any, players are going to be able to draw the final round to make the top 8, but Chris Ha is now 12-2. If he plays and wins his last round, he's in for sure, no questions asked. Maybe even if the tiebreakers look good for him, he can shake hands and draw into the top 8, but we'll see.
All right, a lot on the line here as we head ever closer to our top 8. Don't go anywhere.